Hey everybody, With It or On It is the first game in our Shields and Swords Ancient series. If you played our Shields and Swords 2 series of medieval battle games, a lot of the concepts in this one will be pretty familiar, and some will be pretty different. Some of the stuff that's familiar is that you have units that are in color-coded wings. These wings can be issued commands which determine what phases they perform in your turn. You have combat classes for units, A, B, C, etc., which determine how good they are when attacking, and that can be modified up and down depending on circumstances. You have an initiative marker that will change hands between players, and every time you use the initiative marker you get to take a second turn in a row. So all that kind of is the same as it is in the medieval game. But there's a lot that's different too. For example, we now have a square grid instead of a hex grid. Movement works a little differently. Combat losses are resolved in a very different manner, and they have very different ramifications. And we'll go over that stuff in a couple of other videos. Today we're going to look at the command markers and how they differ in the two series. So over here we have command markers from one of the medieval games. And you have a move in a combat phase, shield wall, which gives you a defensive bonus, withdraw, that lets you get away from certain units, a fire phase, a horse phase, which let you, fire and then ride around on your horses respectively. Now, the Ancients game, which we have over here, we still have a move in a combat phase. Those are pretty self-explanatory, but I'm going to do a video on each of those anyway. We then have none of the other phases, really. We have a skirmish phase, which is kind of like a fire phase, only there are no units with fire factors. It's all kind of abstracted out and involves harassing and slowing down the enemy advance and chipping away at their cohesion. We have rally, which will allow units that are reduced, which in this game is called exhausted, allow them to be flipped back to their full strength side, potentially. And those are like the four core commands you have in this game. Now, in both series, you have a way to modify these commands with a bonus marker. Here's the bonus marker for this one. So a bonus in move is going to give you 2 move phases. Bonus in skirmish, 2 skirmish phases. Bonus in combat or bonus in rally will make those phases more effective. You also have a strategos marker, which is on the reverse side of the bonus marker, and that allows you to issue a single command to all your wings. But when you do that, it lowers something called your rally limit. And the rally limit affects the way the number of units you can try to rally, and if it ever hits 0, then you're going to lose the game automatically. Now, one thing to note is that the move and combat markers are on the same chit. So you can never have a move and a combat phase in the same turn, which makes these units a lot less flexible and mobile than they are in the medieval games. They're a lot more linear and kind of clunky, and you got to kind of work at it to get them into contact with each other and then set yourself up to attack. Now, you can use the initiative marker to say do a move phase in one turn, then use initiative and do the combat phase in the next turn, and that might give you a reason to use that initiative marker more often. But some units are going to have a combat class bonus if their side holds the initiative marker. So if you're doing move, initiative, and then combat in the next turn, you're giving up that bonus, but allowing yourself to hit them before they can hit you back. So that's just a quick look at how the command markers work in With It or On It. And like I said, we'll do a couple more videos where we'll explain movement and combat.